to order. Tony, would you please do the honors?
Cohen? I'll move on. Maybe he's having
Here, sorry.
That's okay. Davis?
Here.
Esparza?
Here.
Jones?
Present.
Liccardo?
Present.
Thank you.
Okay, we will start off here with, see here, there is no meeting on this Tuesday, so we'll go to the following agenda. So I'll ask anybody to identify any proposed changes to the agenda for January 26th. And sorry, just pulling it up on my screen now. Hopefully it's on yours. We'll start with any changes or an amendment starting on pages 4 and 5. Okay, any changes on 6 or 7?
7 still lists the redistricting commission, and I thought we just appointed them.
I thought so too.
Those were provisional appointments. The direction given to us last year was that we bring it forward, provisionally appoint them, and then 2 weeks later come back to do the final appointment. That way, if the public notices if you need to make any changes, you have a 2-week period to review.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right, and on that one, there was supposed to be some guidelines about the balance of membership on that commission or something? Are we supposed to be looking, people are supposed to be looking that over, or are we just accepting the list?
You're referring to
As
the
it is.
mandate in the charter around being representative? That you're referring to, Councilmember?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, certainly if someone wants to pull it off and discuss that, they're certainly welcome to.
And then
I don't think there's any particular finding the council makes
Okay.
in that regard.
But
there's no finding. And then for the resolution, due to the census data most likely coming in past April 1st, we'll also be reestablishing the due date for the report.
So that'll be part of the motion next at the meeting?
Yeah, that's B.
So we have to pull it off to change that date from October 27th to some later date?
No, it'll be in the resolution. You would only pull it if you want to dispute the recommendation in the resolution.
Okay.
So Tony, just for clarification, so if we have a nomination, but we feel that the commission doesn't reflect the diversity that we're looking for, or at least that a particular council member is looking for, we can replace our nomination with someone else?
Yes, but it would have to be somebody who's already applied. So from the applicant pool that already exists.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And you're saying the date will be different than October 27th when it appears on the agenda?
The October 27th was the date the direction was given in 2020. That's what the October 27th date is there.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, so I believe the recommendation the attorney's office is putting in the resolution is currently it's 120 days from April 1st. I believe they're going to do 120 days from the date we receive the data.
Okay.
Anything further? We'll move on. Pages 8 and 9, any changes or amendments? Pages 10 and 11, any changes? Pages 12 and 13. Page 14 and 15. And pages 16 and 17. Oh, there's more. Am I right in believing I think staff was going to defer what was it? The one on Cambriana, is that 10.2? Oh yeah, okay, that's a recommended deferral. Okay, great. And then page 18. All right, we'll go to members of the public who would like to speak on this agenda. Mr. Soto? Mr. Soto, we're not able to hear you right now. There you go.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, members of the council. I don't know. I'm extremely ignorant with regard to how government process is conducted, and so please forgive me if I make a statement or something that is inconsistent with the knowledge that you have. But I think that I've already established my commitment to my city's business. I think I've proven that, and so I just wanted to make that clear. What I'd like to draw your attention to is the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee work plan for the year. If there's any possible way that this can somehow be prioritized, because what's happening in the world is going to differ from when this was formulated. The neighborhood, it says.
Hey, Paul?
Yes.
You want to talk about the work plan that's coming up on item H2?
I don't know.
Yeah, that'll come up on H2. So if you'd like to speak, I'm happy to call you up on that in just a moment. We're almost
cool.
there.
Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you for that correction, Mayor. Thank you. All
Okay. Right. Mr. Beekman?
Hi, thank you. There's an item today, hi to everybody, I guess maybe is a good way to start. There's an item today on, hello to the new Rules and Open Government Committee persons. It's nice to see the new faces. Thank you. There's an item that is 3.4 about questions and procedures in looking for a new police chief. You know my feelings by now, hopefully, about how Deputy Chief Anthony Mata, I think, can be a really good example in how to ask questions and how to look for a police chief. I mean, so much so, I mean, he was to me the obvious choice. I never quite considered him as the actual choice, but I would always think, he is the person to think of and how to make these decisions. And then now I'm thinking, why not just make him the chief? And because you'll obviously be using him as an example. I hope we can do that for ourselves, and he can be the one eventually chosen. We're entering an age of equity questions and what is reimagined. And I was just thinking about these items last night. They're really, really good topics. They're really interesting topics to talk about the ideas of peace and how do we end continual war? How do we address our continual prison, military industrial complex and technology complex state? Those are really good questions to ask of ourselves. And I think Anthony Mata is a person for a new generation to help us lead to ask those sort of questions. He's got a really good touch, I feel, and I think he'd be really important and appropriate. And it is how we can address this Trump issue right now and just bring us all together and work towards a really good future for all of us. Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, we'll entertain a motion then on this agenda.
Move approval?
Second.
All right, motion second, let's vote.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Liccardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, the item D1 is a release of a study session date for this Friday.
Motion to
motion?
approve.
Second.
Okay, let's vote on that.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Liccardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
And item 2 is a special joint meeting for City Council and Board of Fair Campaign and Political Practices for the 28th. Just a question on this one. Nora, is this something we do as a requirement as part of our ethics update every 2 years? I'm trying to understand this one.
Tony, can you help on that? Is this part of
Yeah.
the? Yeah, that's what I thought.
No, that's, I guess I can help, but that's not the reason. It was
Okay.
by council to have a joint meeting regarding the campaign finance suggestions made by council
Oh, yes.
2020.
Oh, in
we're
the lead
directed
up
to have a
for the
joint-
charter, potential charter
Yes.
amendments?
Yeah.
Yes.
I
that's-
see.
That's right.
I didn't know it would be a joint meeting. I thought they would consider stuff and then they'd give us their recommendations. So there was a joint
Yeah.
meeting is what council recommended?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay,
typically, we don't do a joint meeting, but it was requested to have a joint meeting this time. It was requested to be in January or February. So we're
Yeah.
starting January 28th. Now, one of our members does have COVID, so
Mm.
not recovered by then. We may need to reschedule it, but we're trying to get it done quicker so it can make sure we get it to the charter review.
all right.
And
Mr. Beek, I'm sorry, go ahead.
oh, no, Mayor, I was just going to say, just so you know, we had talked about getting some outside help with some of this and expertise. And so we're still working on that also.
Yeah, and this is fairly quick, January 28th. Okay, we'll come back to this in a moment. Mr. Beekman?
Hi, thank you. To try to quickly offer, this is an item and this is work that, you're trying to get your house in order as City of San Jose, and I thank you. I think this past election year, I think we're possibly learning, may have actually been one that was a bit more on the up and up than is given credit for. And I hope we can all look what were our good examples this year and what did actually make this a good process. I think we'd be pleasantly surprised at this point, and I'm hopeful we can all look into that this coming year and learn what that was and what that can continue to be into the 2020s. Thank you.
Okay. So back to my colleagues, I honestly didn't remember this, that we were actually gonna have a joint meeting as opposed to, hey, let's vet all these proposals in front of the commission. And if this is what we decided to do, I guess it's what we decided to do, but I'd be interested in hearing what my colleagues recall.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, Mayor?
Yeah, was there, I know that we wanted to check in with our board of fair campaign political practices about these proposals, but I didn't know that we were specifically setting a joint meeting. Is that what everyone recalled happening?
I'm sorry, Mayor, I don't remember.
I don't remember it either.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, I'm not certain there's a lot we're going to get done January 28th. We don't have a consultant yet. We don't have any hard proposals yet, to my knowledge. And I thought this was something we were going to undertake sequentially. Is it, let me just throw this out there. Is this worth us first submitting the general questions to the Board of Fair Campaign and Political Practices, asking them for their deliberation and feedback, and then after they make recommendations, certainly that might be a good time for us to have either a joint meeting or just we consider their recommendations.
Say that again.
Yeah,
That's our typical procedure.
okay. But in this case, we're gonna have a joint meeting with them in a week, in a couple weeks, right?
Yes, the direction was to return to do a joint meeting in January or February. But
Yeah, Tony, I'm actually
want to
saying
do it,
something
we
very
can
different.
push it out. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I'm actually saying something different. I'm actually suggesting
No, I know.
that we would ask them to consider on their own board meeting
Right.
these recommendations that have been considered by council and any others that they have, and then bring their recommendations, vote on them, bring them to the council. The council can then consider them. Now, whether we have a joint meeting or not, I'm not sure a joint meeting is the best way to resolve this, but I'm open to my colleagues' thoughts here because Lord knows we have enough meetings.
Okay.
Councilmember Esparza?
Thank you, Mayor. Yeah, so my question was similar track. Are we absolutely required based on the vote? Because I guess we're all drawing a blank on this because I really don't remember that. Yeah, anyway, so I'm wondering, are we absolutely required to have a joint meeting? And my preference would be to not have the joint meeting and to do what you're suggesting, Mayor. It seems like a way of getting us what we need and still being respectful of everybody's time. And also is it absolutely required? That's my question.
I would defer to the attorney's office on whether we're required. To me, I've done what I'm supposed to do. I was directed to schedule a joint meeting. I brought it to rules. What the mayor's suggesting is how we typically do it. Typically, things are referred to the Board of Fair Campaign and Political Practices. They have a discussion, they write up recommendations, they send it to council. That's normal, that's typical, we do that all the time. The joint meeting is something new, but I think the attorney's office could tell if we're required to have the joint meeting, or if just bringing it to rules, you guys had the discussion, you've decided you don't need a joint meeting, if that's good enough. But I think that's attorney interpretation.
Okay, Nora?
And thank you, Mayor. I'm trying to find out what the decision and vote was exactly. But
Okay.
the other thing you could do, I think, and Tony, you'll have to confirm this, is bring this back, not set it for the 28th. Because there wasn't a specific date that it had to be set up by. And if in fact it was the direction to have this joint meeting, maybe it rules here, put it on the agenda for the 26th and have council revisit whether or not the joint meeting makes sense, or if you want to go another way.
So that idea came from our memo, which that recommendation from our memo on October 27th was dropped. So I don't recollect a vote requiring the joint meeting. So I guess that's
Okay.
That's where I'm coming from.
Okay. And we're trying to find it. I'm told that, and that this may be the memo you're talking about. Maybe that Councilmember Jimenez wanted to have a study session on campaign finance in the spring.
Yeah, that may be a reasonable thing to do. So perhaps could we vacate, my suggestion is let's vacate this date. We'll all go back and look at whatever was voted on and figure it out. And then we can come back and decide whether we need to ask council to change its mind or just set a study session sometime further out. That'd just be my suggestion. Councilmember Davis?
Thank you. Tony, the only thing I remember about this, I don't remember anything about a joint meeting, but I do remember asking you if the board or the commission would be able to meet in advance of our study session to have their discussions. Have they met and had any discussions about the proposals or the questions?
They had an initial meeting in December. We were going to have a meeting in January, which needed to be canceled because the chair had an illness.
Mm-hmm.
So they began the discussion in December, but they haven't had a full discussion about it.
And I know there's been some turnover on that board. Are there new members?
There's 2 vacancies. We have 3 members seated. We have recruitments. I'm not sure if the applications have been sent over for conflict of interest review. I'd have to check with my staff.
Okay.
But we are seeking to fill 3 vacancies, 1 upcoming and 2 current.
Okay, so there's going to be some turnover in that board as well. So I think I support coming back to the council, and if we did ask for a joint meeting in January or February, maybe coming back to the council and suggesting there's some more time. If it's something that has to go on a charter measure, we're not going to be doing that for a while anyway. So we have time. We might as well take it, and maybe those members, the new members of the board that will hopefully be oncoming, we'll have some time to get acclimated and then have these discussions before we do have a joint meeting if we still want one. That's my 2 cents.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
Actually, Mayor, I was going to have the same suggestion that you proposed by moving it off the agenda and then bringing that topic back to council to vote on what our direction is going to be. So.
Okay. And perhaps before we bring it back to council, we'll just get offline with Nora and Tony and figure out what exactly we need to do. We may not even have to do that.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great.
So I don't think a vote is needed.
Okay. We'll just move forward then. The public record is item E.
Motion and note and file.
Mr. Soto.
Sorry, Mayor, my hand was up for the last one. You
Oh,
had
okay.
missed it, but it's
I'm
cool.
sorry.
I'll just wait for that one for the H2.
Okay, did you want to speak on D2?
I wanted to speak on the campaign financing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, all right. Well, just real briefly, I just wanted to state that I think really critically we need to ask ourselves the question: why do we have to have these meetings with particular reference to campaign financing? And I think that should be why we need to guide the conversation, not whether or not it exists, but why is it necessary that we do this? You know, ever since we had Citizens United happen, the amount of billions of dollars, the amounts of money that are going into these campaigns is just, it's unprecedented at any other point in our history. And so I really hope that we can take a very measured focus, really asking the moral and ethical questions and not the legal ones. You know, I respect your learning, Mayor Liccardo. I respect your pedigree. I really do. However, there are some shortcomings in being a lawyer. And what I mean by that is that your approach constantly to these particular issues that have moral and ethical implications in the way that those policies affect my life and the context in which I live here in San Juan, because I live here in San Juan. I'm directly impacted by the decisions that you make. And so the approach be a little bit more measured with the ethical and moral questions in mind rather than just the legal ones, you know, and so that's my input for this topic. Thank you for calling on me.
Thank you. We'll go back to public record. Mr. Beekman.
Hi, public record. There is a public record this week about COVID issues, and I didn't fully agree with it. I come from a different angle about the issues, but I felt it offered the idea that there could be public voice at this time, and it can be a time that I can once again, really try to apologize for, the death count numbers I gave back in the fall. That I tried to do a really decent job of reporting that COVID was on the rise, and we had to prepare for that. I have not well prepared in the death statistic numbers. I think it's fair to say that if we have regular flu deaths of 300,000 a year in this country, I think it could be easy to say that COVID is like 4 times that amount. And if we didn't have the precautions that we're taking, that could be 8 times the amount. And with an exponential chance of growth that's much larger than it is now. So I like the mask wearing ideas, and to contain it as much as possible is important to myself. I hope we can make a summer schedule that I think has been marked as hopeful. And I hope we can get through the vaccination process this spring to that good summer hope that I think we all have had. Good luck in how we do that. Good luck in how we support Mayor Newsom, or Governor Newsom at this time. He needs it. And what we can do here at the local level with good practices, hopefully that can be of help to him. Thank you.
All right, thank you. There was a motion, but not a second yet on the.
I'll second.
Thank you. Let's vote on that item.
Cohen? Cohen? You're muted. I'm going to move on to Davis while you unmute. Davis?
Aye.
Esparza?
Yes.
Jones?
Aye.
Liccardo?
Aye.
And David, wave if you're saying yes.
I'm sorry.
Got you.
I got this. Everything was I couldn't find my Zoom.
We've all been there.
Use
It's
with my
this-
computer. It was all
It's Zoom
lost
hell.
on my desktop.
All right. Okay, we're on to item G, the consent calendar.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay. On consent, Mr. Beekman, just speaking on the items on the consent calendar.
Yes, I am. You have a COVID issue again that I hope I could a bit better address. What is it? What is it exactly? I can't remember its heading, but it's the idea that a nationwide memorial for COVID-19 victims, a tower in the rotunda. And like I said, I hope we can learn to better practice the death statistics. To kind of, it's scary to report, and it's a lot to report, and it's sobering. And I hope we can learn to do that for each other and create a continuity and a consistency in how to talk about death numbers. They're large. They're much larger than just our regular flu each year. You know, 3 or 4 times a flu amount of 300,000 is, 1.2 million at least. So I'm sorry for this situation. I feel that I don't want to be paranoid about COVID. I feel if we address, where this has originated from, its sources and its purpose, I think that is what we need to address instead of the paranoia of attacking the COVID itself and not wearing masks and that whole process. I think we have to go to the very top to address this instead of attacking each other and saying that I'm more macho than you because I'm not wearing a mask. I don't think that's the right approach. I think the more macho, the more realistic approach is to address the people at the top who have instigated such a process that we're all forced to live with. And I'm not condemning what it's done in positive terms, but our future has to consider that we don't have to resort to harming each other to get to our positive terms. We can have continual dialogue and conversation in the future to address our worries. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's vote.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye. Okay, so it's now time for Joe Royce to virtually descend upon us for the monthly report of activities of our city auditor. Joe?
Good afternoon, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. So I'm here with our offices, Joe Royce, City Auditor, here with our monthly report activities for December of 2020. We issued 2 reports in December: our preliminary review of the allocation process and monitoring of COVID-19 related housing grants, and our annual report on city services for fiscal year 1920, which we'll be bringing to council on the 26th. We have a number of projects underway. I am happy to answer any questions about our current work plan or any other questions you may have.
Okay,
And I ask
great.
that you accept the report.
Okay, questions from the panel?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, on the city auditor work plan, Mr. Beekman?
Hi, thank you. You have an item of addressing and auditing community energy issues that I felt was interesting. Thank you. To first mention, for people to look into the monthly audit reports, there is just a wealth of topics that they work on as a city for yourselves to look at and study and see what's important to the city at this time. So I just wanted to pass that along, and that it's nice to participate in the process. It's nice that just to have that dialogue. I hope for everyone who's suffering around issues of the Capitol this time to just participate in the process. It really can accomplish a lot. So with that said, the items of the community energy audit, thank you for your work in a joint powers board to develop a joint powers board with other community energy agencies. I feel that is, addressing our future, basically. That was kind of the potential of what community energy can be about. and it's the potential to develop democracy, local democratic community practices, and local people at the local community level making decisions about the future, and good decisions about basically leaving the large corporate structures of what, nuclear power and non-renewable energy, tends to foist upon us. I mean, it's really hopeful, good stuff. And I wanted to remind yourselves of that. I've written a lot of letters to you recently that I hope I'm learning to respect, and that, your own efforts to prepare for our future of community energy in terms of just not only a community, but in terms of natural disaster, that's always important and a lot of work, and hope we can have sober conversations in the future about the subject. Thank you.
Thank you. I just had a question, Joe, about the work plan. The municipal water billing customer service, as I understand it, the charter says your scope can only include what's going on in the city. So does that mean San Jose water billing, obviously a private retailer, but within the city, subject to some of our regulation, are they completely beyond your scope?
It's not what we were planning on looking at.
Yeah.
The city's muni water program is something that's been often on our work plan for the last few years. It's not something we've looked at for many years, and we did receive a couple resident concerns coming our way. So it was really focused more narrowly on just what the city services.
Okay, got it. And again, I know this won't be the focus of the review of the police department staffing expenditures and workload, but will there be some consideration of those areas, particularly maybe with back office functions, where some technological improvements could reduce the burdens in some way? I know there's a real staffing challenge over there.
I don't know if that has been something that the team has been looking at, but
Okay.
I can touch base and see if that's something that's been part of the focus.
Okay.
I know a lot of the work has been a little broader.
Okay.
But I can touch base.
Yeah, I could perhaps, we can talk offline. I understand you're probably going to be focused mostly on patrol and sworn. There's some things that we've been looking at and trying to encourage them to embrace to reduce burdens, for example, in record review, where I think we had a quadruple the amount of staffing to review video. Some of that stuff, we think there may be some solutions for. But anyway, okay, we're happy to talk to you about it offline.
Okay.
Great. Then do we need a vote actually on this, or is this just a?
It's an accept.
Okay, let's vote to accept it. There is a motion,
I should say.
Yes.
Cohen,
Move to accept the report.
I think we already got one.
We got a motion. Okay.
Thanks. Yep.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Locarno.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a work plan for Neighborhood Services and Education Committee on item H2. Mr. Soto, you want to speak on this item?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. The reason why I wanted two things. Number one, if there could be some type of reassessment and reprioritization of some of these, because as we're moving through COVID, well, rather as COVID is moving through us, the necessity for particular information is more critical at this point rather than at the point where it's scheduled. Like, say, for example, city residential displacement strategy recommendation report is due March 11th. Whereas by virtue of the moratorium expiration, it would be wise if we could possibly get those agendized earlier, so that we can assess those within the context of the moratoriums. So there's issues like that within this particular item. Secondly, I'm very concerned about the punishment, the actual punishment that's going on at at Columbus Park. I mean, they shut off the water. I mean, Parks and Recreation just literally shut off the water as a form of punishment because needles are being found there. There's needles all over the city, Mayor. Believe me, I know. I've been around them. I know that. And what really concerns me is that there are people that access, and I've been one of them, that access Columbus Park because sometimes there's absolutely no place to shower in the city. There's no place to keep your body clean. And there's been times when I went to that bathroom and I showered to keep my body clean so that I can interact with the public with a sense of at least some type of dignity because I was homeless. And so while I acknowledge that there are abuses there, to shut off the water there as a form of punishment, this is a callousness within the city department that I think needs to be acknowledged, checked, and remedied. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Soto, I was out at Columbus Park a couple of weeks ago when I was hearing initial complaints about the water shut off. What I was hearing at the time from park staff was that there was problems because of vandalism and damage that was forcing. They had actually issues of repair. They couldn't actually repair it in time because it was over the break. I'll ask PRNS to look into it again to figure out whether or not the water is being restored soon. I know that they were working on it. Councilmember Esparza?
Thank you, Mayor. I actually had a question. So this is agendized as review of additions to council committee agendas and work plans. And so under that agenda item, I wanted to ask a question of the city manager's office, and which is, have we thought about the roadmap that the city manager presented a few months ago at city council, and how we have had to divert a lot of resources to that? And have we looked at the scheduling of these standing committees in regards to that roadmap?
Just to clarify, Councilmember, are you referring to whether or not, for example, we need to stagger meetings further apart, or are you talking about the order sequence?
Yeah, specifically on, because under agendas, right, we're allowed to talk about when they are. And has the city manager's office really looked at, and I'm not saying one committee is more important, they all cover super important items, but should we be looking at spacing them farther apart? Because the same people working on all of these items are the same people that are working on our COVID response and recovery. And so I wanted to raise that because it's something that I've been thinking about as we look about the roadmap and our own workforce.
Well, I would just offer, I think that's really up to us. If we'd like to have more space between the meetings, this is the body that sets the meetings. So certainly up to us, but interested in what city manager's thoughts might be.
Yeah, I definitely, I know the council in late spring wanted to return to the council agenda process or the committee process. So we started that up in the fall. It's certainly our expectation after the roadmap exercise with council, and once we have something more finalized to look at this with committee work plans, not necessarily the frequency, and then possibly adjust so that we can be focused on what's more important after that exercise. But I would agree with the mayor, when and the frequency of the committees is a determination by the legislative board. There are capacities within the city administration to be able to staff these and do the policy work when it's not aligned with some of the work in the Emergency Operations Center or the other high competing priorities in the organization.
And when will that roadmap come back to us?
The study session now is tentatively, actually it is scheduled for February 5th. So that's Friday, February 5th.
Okay.
Could I offer a suggestion? Look, if we want to seriously consider, providing 6 weeks or 8 weeks or whatever between committee meetings, we can defer this and think about it and talk offline and come back. There's no need for us, I think, to approve this work plan this week because I don't think there's any meeting scheduled in January. But I'm open to the thoughts of the committee.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about it as a full council on the February 5th, if that can, we can add something on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, if we were going to do that, I would suggest then we approve the work plan for February 11th, because I think everybody needs to know when their reports need to get filed and all that. But the rest of these meetings, perhaps we could put off. I don't know if everybody followed that.
Yeah, I'm good. I just see Councilmember
Okay.
Davis's hand raised, so
Oh, forgive me, I
defer to
didn't
her.
see it.
I'll
Okay.
defer to her.
Great. Councilmember Davis?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest, I think this is the last of the work plans and that we've already approved the other committee work plans. Lee, do you want to, can you confirm that?
Yeah, we have approved all of them. I think to the mayor's point, what would be most appropriate is either, and we will bring, as part of the roadmap exercise, there will be a discussion kind of, on projects, strategies, and policy. And a certain amount of those policies, but also some of the projects and strategies do funnel into the committee structure, whether it's you guys taking policy positions or getting status reports. So we can certainly carve out some time as part of that study session to have this conversation. I do think it's a good one, given our bandwidth and focus for the next 6 months.
Yeah, I'd just like to suggest, Councilmember Arenas is the chair of that committee, or was the chair of that committee, and developed this work plan. And I feel like it's important to give her the same consideration that we all got, which is to have our work plan approved, and hopefully she would have some input. I can't remember if she's the incoming or remaining as chair of neighborhood services, but I would hope that I guess I'd like to make the motion that we just approve the work plan, and then they're all approved and we can go from there, and whatever timeline we're going to go, we're going to work from, given the roadmap study session.
I'll
Right.
second that with that understanding. I think that's a good idea.
Okay, so we can come back and change it after we have a chance to talk about it at the council.
Because we'll have to revisit them all anyway, so
Yeah.
I treat this one any differently.
Okay. All right then. On that motion, any other comment? Let's vote.
Cohen,
Aye.
Davis,
Aye.
Esparza,
Yes.
Jones,
Aye.
Liccardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think we're on to open forum. Minutes to speak. Having a hard time getting there. Henry, can you read names? Because I'm not even able to get my screen to respond right now, unfortunately.
Mr. Beekman?
Hi, everyone. Because of what the mayor just described, I had an item, I wanted to speak on the neighborhood services item and then speak on open forum. Can I have time to speak on both items?
So we heard public comment when Mr. Soto spoke, and your hand was not.
My
So
hand was up. My hand was up, sir.
You've, okay, I'm sorry, I didn't see it, but I'm pretty sure I looked. But go ahead and speak, sir.
I will speak my items. If I can have my time started over again, I'll put all my items into open forum. But please note, I had important words. Okay, thank you. To try to put everything into one item here, about the neighborhood services things, I wanted to reemphasize that, the everyday public can learn to talk about digital inclusion issues and when it's being placed in their neighborhood. They do have that right, and they should have that right, and they can simply ask you as local government, is this acceptable in being placed in my neighborhood? There isn't a total juggernaut to this process. And to have that open public policy ideas, it has to be a part of the digital inclusion future. I'm sorry to say that, but it's good work. It's just our future of our community morale, basically, and our sustainability and good practices. Learn to include it, don't be afraid of it, and you'll get people working with you, not against you. I also wanted to offer that, in speaking of people at this time as a country, we're trying to hold this situation accountable, what's happened in Washington, D.C., and what our former president has done. And we're trying to hold them accountable while at the same time learning a process of how really to invite everybody to a future that is really hopeful and positive and good. And that's a fine balance to create. And I hope we can do that. And I hope people can see that in the efforts that we're trying to create, and it can be something good. And to conclude with 30 seconds, I've written to yourselves about there's items of deferral and the Brown Act and how that's used. I hope that can be reviewed by city attorney and staff. And it's my understanding that if an item has been referred and hasn't been talked to at a council session yet, it has to have public comment. And you're unclear on how to do that. I hope you can figure that out in the following weeks and months. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Soto?
Yes, I'd like to, I don't know if you had.
Mr. Soto, your microphone just shut off. Want to try that again?
Hello? Can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
there you go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, I just wanted to thank you, Mayor. If I don't know if you talked to them or not, but I went to the Arts Commission and I talked to, I believe Callie is her name. I'm sorry if I got her name wrong, but I talked about the 1 hour to the 2 hour, and she said she got a phone call and said yes, that she was in agreement that that was an insufficient amount of time to cover the topics with regard to San Jose San Jose Airport and the Fallon statue. So I just wanted to extend that to you. What I am kind of concerned about, though, is that the statue is going to go. I mean, we know that already. Because there's a direct link between Burnett and Thomas Fallon. Burnett doesn't exist without Thomas Fallon. He just does not exist. But yet we remove Burnett, but we leave Fallon in place. And so we need to have a unified, as a city, we must have a unified truth telling about how San Jose was established. With my research, I found out about how we got our name Kelly Park. I've done a lot of research on Judge Lawrence Archer, and I'm disgusted by what Lawrence Archer did. Judge Lawrence Archer, his wife is Kelly Park is named after his wife. Lawrence Archer was the ones that got Mexicans, women and children. He is noted as the first person in Santa Clara County to put women and children out there in the fields to work, my ancestors. Okay, and so that's why the truth telling is so critically important, and I don't want to waste time debating about Fallon, because Fallon is a representation of men like Judge Lawrence Archer. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I believe those are all the members of the community who wanted to speak. The meeting is adjourned. Happy health.